3, 2, 1, let's jam. Copyright strike. Get it?
Copyright speedrun.
Wait, did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. I was like, wait, you know, Tank,
course.
right? Tank,
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. Anyway, hey, welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast.
Hello.
Where we sing anime intros mostly.
Yeah.
With me, Nicolai.
And me, Brian.
We've never done that, actually.
Miyagata yosoro no hoshitachi no hikari. Okay. Enough.
Zangoku
Nope.
wa tenshi no yoni. No?
I said stop.
Oh, okay. What up, bro?
What's up?
What up, brother of game?
Hi.
I am the brother of game.
Are
and
you?
He is the brother of game.
I am
Also.
the storm that is approaching.
Whoa. And in this episode, we're exclusively talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie that neither of us have seen.
Yep.
So, what did you think of it?
It was great and or terrible and or amazing and or worst thing I've ever seen and or
All I could say is that is a movie that is in the theaters right now, and it is Mario.
yeah. So anyway,
Anyway,
we have not seen
moving on. But no, for real, we have not seen it. I want to. It sure is the #1 animated film of all time now.
it already. Oh,
Yep,
jeez.
it just surpassed Frozen 2.
Wow.
It has now the largest opening, I think. The largest opening of any movie, of any animated movie ever. So that's the power of Mario. So that's cool, huh? I guess.
Yeah.
It is curious what that means for the future. Guarantee there's going to be more Nintendo movies.
Yeah.
Just seeing from the success of this. I wonder if they'll really do like a Smash Bros. Universe type thing, like
That'd be interesting, I guess.
it's like maybe that could work, but
Is there enough content to make that many movies? I don't know.
man, there's a lot of Nintendo IPs, dude.
Yeah.
Like almost as many as there are Marvel heroes. Like, I mean, there's quite a few.
So the big question then is a Zelda movie.
Yeah.
What
I don't
would
know.
it be like
I don't
and
know
would it
how
be
you
good?
do a Zelda movie, really. Like, you could make a really like quiet artsy movie, like
Yeah.
anime movie that would be really cool, but that's like Ghibli style.
Yeah.
Could work for Zelda. Other than that, I have no idea. So
Yeah, because like either you leave him as a silent protagonist, which is probably the better of the two options,
right, which they probably wouldn't do.
or you get
CDI
Excuse me, princess.
You get CDI Zelda, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, curious.
Yes.
But yeah, then we'll see, I guess. Other than that, what's been going on?
Well,
You got anything?
I've been playing video games.
No way. I sort of have also.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start. How about that?
Okay, so first, game collection update. I have added Pokemon Ultra Moon to my list of games.
Very
that I
smart
own.
of you to do that now.
Yes. I was going to get Ultra Sun, but they just didn't have it. And I was like,
Right.
well, I'm here, so I'm going to get what they have.
I feel like it's a little harder to get for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently completed my entire 3DS Pokemon collection. So I have all 8 that were released for the 3DS. And man, was that good timing.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't know, the 3DS and Wii U eShop are now closed down. You cannot buy games on there anymore forever.
Yep.
And so that typically coincides with 3DS games becoming more expensive. And because that's how it worked with, the Wii and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like a week after the thing closed, Pokemon Sun and Moon, which were the cheapest Pokemon games ever for a very long time, are now above retail price already. Like they went from like $30 to like $50. So yeah, now is the time to buy 3DS Pokemon games.
Yep.
Like go do it before they're $100.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's pretty insane. Because I mean, even before that, X and Y and ORAS were $55-$60
Yeah.
each. So yeah, it's just gonna get worse from there. So yeah, go do that.
Yeah. So So I haven't played it yet, but I have it now.
Yes.
What I did play was
is good. I
Pokemon
like
Crystal,
Oh yeah, you were playing
which
Crystal.
which I've never actually
cool.
played before.
Yeah.
I've played both Gold
That's
and
so funny.
Silver,
Yeah.
and Heart's Soul Silver.
Yeah. So I
But
mean, it's not that different, but
Yeah.
still.
But yeah, I hadn't ever actually played Crystal before. I didn't really notice very many differences. But except the added like Suicune content.
Yes. Yeah, that's the biggest difference, I would say.
Yeah. But so here's the thing about Gen 2. Pokemon availability is really bad. And like we give Sinnoh a lot of heat for this.
Yes.
So I have to also give it to Johto
absolutely.
and Gen
It's
2.
terrible.
Yeah. Pokemon availability and movesets are
Just
awful.
atrocious.
And so I was, as I often do, I did some metagaming by looking up the Elite Four teams and
Sure.
going, okay, what team would I want to beat to fight the Elite Four with? The Elite Four tends to be the hardest challenge in the game, therefore I like to be prepared for the Elite Four. And I was like, okay, so I had my choice of types to look for. So in terms of number of Pokemon on the Elite Four's teams that are weak to any particular type, you know what type they are most weak to? Is Rock.
Rock. Wow.
There were like 8
Rock
Pokemon
sucks.
between all of the Team 4 teams.
Team 4.
That
The
were,
Team 4-star teams.
Yes, that were weak to Rock.
Huh.
More so than in any other type. So
Who knew?
Rock type would be a really good thing to have on the team. Rock selection, not great.
Yeah,
but,
too bad Rock sucks.
Yeah. A strong rock type with Rock Slide is pretty good. But,
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's still
But
the accuracy.
Yeah, the accuracy's low. Yeah, it's
kills
still
me.
not a
Kills
great
me.
time. And then Dark was a good type for coverage. And Psychic.
Psychic is always good in early gens.
And so like I was looking at and obviously Houndour is infamously not available in Johto.
Yes.
You have to not until Kanto. Also, Larvitar, like all these Pokemon that are exclusive to Gen 2 that aren't available in Johto, or at least not until very late.
Yeah, if you try to think back to like the coolest Gen 2 Pokemon, I guarantee they're all in like mid to late Kanto.
Yeah.
It's really terrible. Misdreavus, Skarmory, like yeah. So
this is what I did. I was like, okay, it's Game Shark time.
I'll just cheat them in. Yeah,
So-
the Brian method. I'll just cheat.
Yes.
Classic.
Going back to my roots. But this time
I say that, but I also cheated.
this time
in
it's to
Crystal,
make
so-
the game better, not to just win more easily.
true.
So because of that, I say I think cheating for that purpose is absolutely justified. I mean,
Sure.
just making the game more, because sometimes making the game more fun is also making it more challenging
Yeah. Oh, for
instead
sure.
of making it easier. So
For sure.
like cheating to make the game harder, that's also really cool. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
Definitely.
so the team I wound up with, and I decided to just get my whole team right at the start. So at the earliest patch of grass, I just caught every
Single one. Yeah.
so that I could
That's cool.
have the best chance for EVs and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were they hard to catch?
no.
Okay.
Well, not a little. It took more than one ball, but like,
Right. I could
not
see
a lot.
I could see maybe Larvitar being hard or something. So,
Yeah, Larvitar took a few balls
yeah.
to catch.
Most
but-
pseudo legendaries are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might have. I didn't cheat in a Master Ball because, but I
Yeah.
think I cheated in some Ultra Balls
Oh, gotcha.
so that I could catch Larvitar. Yeah,
That does make sense.
but it only took a couple. So, all right. The team that I wound up with was Chikorita, because I said I was going to do Chikorita, and I'm
Heck
a man
yeah.
of my word.
A cheating man of your word.
That's right. listen. Oh, hold on.
Got him. Uh-oh. What?
Prevent any bunnies.
The rabbits almost attacked again.
Yeah.
The Rayman rabbits.
The raving rabbits, yeah. Chikorita, Houndour, Mareep, because I always use Ampharos when in Gen 2.
I mean, he's cool.
And even in some later gens when there isn't a better electric type.
I mean, he's slow, but that's a good special attack.
Yeah.
So
And he's just strong in like every regard. Okay. Zatu.
who I've never used before. Never
This
ever.
isn't even the first time I've used it.
Yeah.
Just Psychic Flying is such a great combo.
I don't think I've ever used a psychic flying type of
Yeah.
any kind.
This is
Like
I was
Siglif and
I was
stuff?
going for type coverage, so I
Yeah.
got really good coverage with this team.
I don't use a lot of flying types now that I'm thinking about it. I've never used a Halucha either,
Yeah.
even though he's very good. Anyway,
But yeah, so Chikorita, Houndour, Mareep, Natu, Remoraid for my
Oh,
water
yeah,
type. Because
Remoraid.
Octillery is actually really good and
Octillery's
has
good,
a pretty
yeah.
decent moveset.
he's pretty good. He has a cool move set. He has
Yeah.
like cool beam moves. He learns.
Yeah, it's like every beam move.
yeah. You can do like signal beam, which is
Yeah.
really good.
Like actually, it having Psybeam was really useful.
Yeah. And ice beam, of course.
Yeah, and that was actually the main reason I picked Octillery was for ice moves for
Yeah.
anti-dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the sixth was Larvitar.
Larvitar, yes, as mentioned.
Yeah.
Can I go on a mini rant of Octillery?
Okay.
I think Octillery is pretty cool. How he's just sort of an octopus. Like
Yeah.
there's not much else to him. But the idea is that like he's a cannon, right? And he's
Yeah.
shooting stuff. I hate Remoraid with a fiery passion.
Okay.
I think Remoraid is the stupidest, dumbest little fish I've ever seen. I'd rather have a Breaksish and a Basculin than a Remoraid. Okay? He's just a little green fish. Okay? And it makes no sense that he evolves into Octillery.
Yeah.
They look nothing alike. It's absolutely insane. Like Dragonair looks exactly like Dragonite compared to Remoraid and Octillery.
Yeah.
And then I saw a beta sprite of Remoraid, and he looks and then I got it all of a sudden. He's supposed to be a little revolver. He's a gun He's a gun fish, and that's why he's got like two little lines on the back of him. Those are supposed to be like the chamber, like in a
wow.
revolver. But his beta sprite looked way more like a gun, and you would have gotten that immediately.
Yeah.
But they were like, this looks too much like a gun, and we should make it more kid-friendly, basically. So they just made him sort of a fish,
That makes sense.
which completely ruined the purpose of everything, and now it's confusing. Like, so that made me even more mad, because it could have been cool and make perfect sense, and now it's just dumb, and he's just a dumb little fish. But Octillery's fine, so... So I hate Remoraid. Just throwing that out there.
Nice.
That's all. Oh, and Octillery's shiny is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like gold. He looks awesome. Anyway, continue.
I never remembered Johto being hard, and it wasn't.
It's not. Yeah.
But it was even easier than I expected.
Yeah. Especially the Johto region. Like,
Yeah.
not even just the games
But
themselves.
like Pokemon Crystal was easier than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
So the only gym leader that gave me trouble, and this will come as no surprise to anyone, but it was Whitney.
Whitney, yes.
But
of
it's
course.
because Whitney, it's so like Miltank is strong-ish.
Yeah.
Rollout is a good, relatively strong move.
Yes.
The thing,
Especially if it's the fourth
yeah,
one.
the big thing is just that Miltank is level 20.
Yeah. It's
By
super high
then, I
level.
was like level 14.
Yes. That's absolutely why it's hard.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's milk drink, I think, is the most annoying
Yeah.
part of it, is just the fact it can heal constantly. But yeah, that's, I think, the biggest thing is just the level difference there.
And I didn't have any fighting type moves, so I
Yes.
didn't have super
So,
effective attacks. At
I
all.
went in, I remember my Heart Gold playthrough. I made a Leafeon happen. And I think I traded it over. And I had Leafeon with Rock Smash. And And Leafeon's just attack stat, I think he was like level 22 too. I
Yeah.
think I one-shot Miltank.
Nice.
I was like, that's how it should go. Get wrecked.
So I fought her twice and realized, okay, I have to grind somewhere because I'm just underleveled for this fight. And so thankfully the area north of Goldenrod has a few trainers that you can fight.
Yeah.
So I went and trained up a little bit and came back, and then I beat her, and
Sure.
it wasn't too big a deal. None of the other gym leaders were really all that difficult. So
Yeah, I can't think of anyone who's difficult. So.
yeah, by the time I
Yeah.
reached the Elite Four, my team was all fully evolved, but I still only had Pupitar.
Yes, because
I was only in the
what is it, like 55 that Tyranitar evolves?
I was like in the high 30s to low 40s when I fought the Elite Four.
Yeah.
But that's fine because
sounds right.
I think the Elite Four in Johto actually has the lowest levels probably of any Elite Four.
Probably,
But that's
yeah.
because they were giving room for the
Yes,
post game
yeah,
of
exactly.
Kanto.
It is weird how low level everyone is in Johto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that shocked me when I was like, because I didn't really remember it that well. So when I was
Mm-hmm.
playing Crystal on the 3DS, yeah, fighting I forgot what the name of the town is, but where the Lake of Rage is,
Mm-hmm.
that 7th gym leader there,
Yeah.
I think his most powerful is level 35.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the 7th gym.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, I remember it was either there was an HM that is just like is in the ice caves that I just missed.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back in there and get it. That was annoying.
Yeah, it's if I remember correctly, it's just sort of an item that's just sitting on the
Yeah.
ground.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you could easily just walk right past it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember that. That's weird. Yeah, I remember I usually just go for every item, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I search out items.
I think it was Whirlpool.
Yeah, I think it is Whirlpool.
That's the other thing that the other problem with both Gen 2 and 3 is there are three water type
3
HMs.
especially. 3 is so
And
bad.
Octillery can't learn Waterfall.
Yeah.
So I had to catch
so-
another
so
Pokemon
stupid.
just to use Waterfall. So I caught
stupid.
a Poliwag.
Yeah, as I'm playing Alpha Sapphire right now. So
Mm-hmm.
the 3 water HMs thing I hate. So
Which is why, so in a lot of my other playthroughs of Gen 2, I had 2 water types on my team just
Yep.
for that. So once I reached Kanto, like nothing was hard there. I just cleared through all of the gym leaders there pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Do you
There's a
remember
couple-
when you got a Tyranitar?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a
okay.
minute.
Fine.
A couple things that are interesting Johto / Gen 2 things just to point out. Sometimes a person will have like 3 Pokemon, and the first one will be a really low level, and then the next one will be several levels above that, and then several levels above that, their third one.
Interesting.
I came across that a couple of times. That was
I never noticed that, yeah.
it was an interesting idea that didn't really work because of how low level the first.
Yeah.
One
so
is.
it's like, who cares? Yeah.
And then I was going through some of the areas of Kanto are very streamlined.
Okay.
They're much smaller and take a lot less time to traverse.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a lot less places to go. And like part of the idea is that earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff have shifted the landscape.
Wow, that's cool.
But so like Mount Moon is way smaller, takes way less time to get through.
Hmm.
Same with Rock Tunnel.
That's good.
Yeah.
I hate Rock Tunnel.
Seafoam Island is literally one room. And
Oh,
it's just
geez.
and Blaine is in there. And
Just hanging
that's
out.
where you fight Blaine. Yeah.
He's like, hi, this
Mm-hmm.
is my room.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And the sea routes, well, most of the routes in Kanto just have way less trainers
Yeah.
than they do in Gen 1.
I just read a thing too. Another like one of those thematic things, sort of. There's a little spot you can surf in Celadon.
Yeah, I remember.
And in Gen 1, there's like a 5% chance to find a coughing there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't remember
super
that.
super random. But in Gen 2 Kanto, it's 100%. There are no water types because pollution has taken over the city.
Oh,
Basically.
wow. That's
Like, that's
interesting.
messed up,
I
actually.
didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's super. It was a cool little trivia thing
Yeah.
I saw.
So I beat all the Kanto gym leaders, and I was like, okay, well, one thing left
Now
to do:
what?
go to Mount Silver and fight Red.
Go fight Red,
So I looked.
who is really high level.
Yeah. So
It's like
I
level-
was.
his Pikachu's like 83 or something.
Yeah. So my team at this point was still like below 50,
Jeez. Okay.
and Red's
So,
team.
Time to hack in rare candies.
Yeah. So Red's team was.
That sounds right.
I think his
That sounds
lowest
like you.
level is 73.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
So
super high
I
level.
leveled my team up to 70.
Uh-huh.
And then
And was that enough?
yeah.
Okay.
But so I get to Mount Silver and it is dark now inside the cave.
Yeah.
Now in Gen 1 when I almost never use Slash in Rock Tunnel because I first of all you can see the outlines
Yeah.
of the
You can
rocks.
see it pretty well.
And also, I have the path memorized and have had it memorized for as long as I can
Since
remember.
you were a child. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
sure.
between those two things, I like pride myself on the fact that I can get through it without
Rock Tunnel's
Flash.
nothing.
But in Gen 2, it's completely black.
is just
There's no
pitch
outlines
black.
of anything.
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
Dang.
So
messed up.
obviously, none of my Pokemon know Flash because Flash is a stupid move.
Right.
So
Yikes.
to get through Mount Silver, it's preferred to have a Pokemon with Flash.
Yeah.
It's not impossible,
But you didn't use Flash?
so at first, I had a Pokemon with Flash. I used the Togepi you get that hatches
Yeah.
from the egg, and then my Poliwag for Waterfall. Thankfully, you actually only need Waterfall to get a couple of items. You don't need it to get to
okay.
Red. So once I realized that, once I got all the items in the cave, I was like, okay. So I went back to the Pokemon Center that's right outside it, and swapped back in my team, and it took a few minutes
Just
to
brute
get
forced
through
it, yeah.
the dark because I actually got to like the upper right corner of the room, which is the end, and then somehow missed something, and I was like, oh no, where
You're
am
just
I?
Lost. Yeah. Then yeah.
Because I didn't have an escape rope or anything, so I was good. It would have been taken a
Dang.
lot of effort to get out of there, but I was like, no, I think I am pretty close. Let me and I got through.
Gosh. Scary.
Yeah.
Spooky.
And then I fought him. He was easy at level 70,
Yeah,
really.
okay.
He did.
Sad.
I think he took out a couple of my Pokemon, but
Yeah.
it was not a big deal.
Cool. And that's Crystal.
Yeah.
But how'd I do?
There was a fight that Lance was pretty tough. I think he took
yeah?
he might have taken 2 attempts. Yeah.
Nice.
Cuz yeah.
Dragon Man.
But yeah, that was probably the most fun I've had playing Gen 2.
Oh, good.
Turns out
Helps you-
cheating is the way to
Yeah,
go.
it helps that you had a good team, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a good team just makes it more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, when I play Gen 2, I always cheat, sort of. I always make it so I get all 3 starters.
Yeah.
I do like the duplication cheat at the beginning to just get every starter, which is just more fun, I feel like.
And I think that's even better of a thing to do in Gen 2 because of, I don't know, there's not a lot of great choices
Exactly.
sometimes. Like,
Having a good fire, grass, and water type early
because
on
the
is
problem
really
with
good. So.
picking Cyndaquil is that it takes a while before you get any good water types. And the problem
Yes,
with picking
definitely.
Totodile is it takes a while before you get any good fire types.
Yes.
And the problem with picking Chikorita is then you don't get either.
Yeah. And it's kind of weak also.
Yeah.
So the first gym is a flying type gym. So
Yeah, that too.
yeah. Yikes.
That's true.
Yeah. That's funny. And then you go to like Sprout Tower where there's all Ghastlies who are poison type and like it's just like
Yeah.
it sucks for Chikorita.
Yeah, I think I went on a tirade about this already, but like the number of things that are resistant to grass are my reasonings why Bulbasaur is not easy mode for Gen 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can the best example is just my fight with Gary in Saffron in Silphco. Almost his entire team. His team is built to crush grass types.
Totally true. Yes. Yeah. So take that.
Yeah.
Grass. I don't know. I'm really coming around to.
Sucks.
I'm actually really coming around to grass as a type. Like I think Leafeon is taking over Vaporeon as my favorite evolution.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I just really like Leafeon. I think he's cool and cute and
I've always liked grass
amazing
types. I just don't like
physical attack.
using them.
like his physical attack is 110. He does. It's not even the 130 thing. His defense is 130. He's like strong and unkillable, just like Vaporeon, which I just love. I'm all about that. So, yeah. So I'm using him right now in Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
So there.
It's funny. It took me a lot longer. It took me a really long time to notice the 110, 130 thing with the evolutions.
Yeah.
That was something I knew. I learned as an adult, not something I knew from childhood. And then I was like, I remember one time just because I've never used Flareon basically ever.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much ever. I think I did like once as a kid because I played the game so many times as a kid that I've used pretty much every Pokemon at least once. But I think I used Flareon one time. I was like, because Jolteon was my boy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, Flareon's a physical attack stat is ridiculous.
Yep.
130 physical attack.
It's incredibly high.
It's like the second or third highest or strongest in Gen 1 in terms of physical attack.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's a shame that in Gen 1, 2, and 3, fire is never physical.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in like Gen 4, like I don't think it really learns any physical fire moves. Like I know Fire Fang exists as of like Gen 5, but I don't think it even learns it.
Maybe by TM, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's no focus on evolutions in Gen 4.
Yeah.
It's hard to get any of them.
Yeah.
Even though it adds 2 of them.
Yeah. But yeah, a Flareon with Fire Fang or Flare Blitz would hit real hard.
Flare Blitz is perfect.
But then, of course, then they came out with Blaziken and Infernape, and nobody cares about Flareon anymore.
I mean, I like Flareon,
but it's so fluffy.
He is super fluff. Yep. Now I'm just thinking about all my shiny evolutions in Violet. So cool.
Yeah.
Feels so good to have every single one. First time I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Oh,
I did not catch any shinies.
Yeah. I haven't either in Gen 2. I'd love to see one.
I have so rarely ever.
Actually, technically, I have one in Gen 2. Do you know about the odd egg? Mm-mm. So if you go to the daycare, and you talk to one of the old man, he gives you the odd egg, and the odd egg can have any of the babies in it. So Cleffa, Igglybuff.
Oh yeah, no, actually,
Smoochum.
I probably did know about this as a kid, and just have long since.
And the
forgotten.
thing about this egg is that, in the English, at least in the English version, it has a 12% chance of being shiny. Like of whatever baby it is, 12% chance. Pretty insane. In the Japanese, it's 25%. It's 1 in 4 that the egg will be shiny. So I just got lucky, and I got a shiny Igglybuff in my crystal playthrough. So I technically have 1 shiny, but it's very easy to get. So not a big deal.
I didn't remember seeing like any shinies in Gen 2, but
it's very rare, 1 in 8,000. So, and with the pixels and stuff, it's harder to tell. I mean, there's like a little star animation around them, but I feel like especially as a kid, you could easily just miss that.
Yeah. Well, and is it as obvious as it is in Heart Gold Soul Silver though?
What? Like the stars around it? Or?
Yeah, the shiny animation.
Probably not as much, but I mean, there's definitely it is a noticeable little star thing. But yeah, I don't know, if you're not paying full attention, you could miss it, I would think. So
also, I guess I avoided wild Pokemon for the most part anyway. So
yeah, I mean, you could easily go through a full playthrough without seeing one. So yep. Speaking of shinies, I have a depressing shiny story. I pride myself in not having missed many shinies. The only one I've ever missed knowingly was in my original playthrough of Pokemon X way back in the day when it first came out. I remember chain fishing a Dratini, and I got a shiny Dratini, little pink little dude, and I think it ran away somehow. I think maybe it learned to move, it had a move or something. Like, I don't know if it was Roar. I don't think it was Roar, but maybe Whirlwind. I don't know, something like that. Somehow, I don't think I killed it. Maybe I just killed it. Now I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But that was a bit traumatic, losing a shiny Dratini. Well, I was just playing. I was grinding special attack EVs, is what I was doing. One of the most efficient ways to do that in Pokemon X and Y is Spinda Horde encounters.
Okay.
Where there's like 5 Spinda, and they all give 1 EV each. So Horde battles are way better for EV training because you get 5 instead of 1.
Yeah.
And so I was just killing, armies of Spinda. But within 20 minutes, there was a shiny Spinda in one of them who's like green, kind of. He was kind of cool. But I was using Venusaur, who doesn't have an attack that hits a single target.
Oh, yeah.
He has Petal Blizzard and Razor Leaf, and that's it. So I couldn't kill everything but the shiny one. So I had to switch to Talonflame, which was a terrible idea. That was the wrong choice because Talonflame has Flame Body. And so I switched, and they attacked me. And mostly Spinda knows special moves, like Psybeam and all these things, but it used Feint Attack, I think, which is physical, and the shiny one hit me and was burned by the Flame Body. And so now the clock was ticking, right? And so one at a time, I'm going through trying to kill all these Spinda, but they keep using Hypnosis, and it keeps hitting. And so almost every turn I have to use like a full heal or something because I can't risk trying to just wake up on my own. So it's going way longer than it should. And again, this happens to me all the time. I feel like it was like scripted because I was going back and forth, and right at the very end, it was down to 2 Spindas, the shiny one and the non-shiny. They're both burned, and like I calculated it right. Like if this turn I go to sleep, it's over. That is, it's now too many turns. It's going to burn down. It had like 2 more turns left of burn before it died. And like perfect timing. The other one hypnosised me, had to wake up, killed the other one. And that turn where I killed that one, he attacked me and got burned to death and fainted.
Wow.
And so it was like perfect timing. I would have been able to catch it that next turn, but nope, it burned to death. So I missed a full odds shiny Spinda. So that was depressing. But what are you gonna do? Yeah. It's not like I care that much about Spinda, but so yes, that's been part of my. I'm still on the grind of trying to get the entire national dex in X and Y. I've gotten every Pokemon in the Kalos Dex except for Gliscor, because the only way to get a Razor Fang is to like do the battle tower stuff to get BP, like the special points, and I did that to get the Razor Fang, Razor Claw for Weavile, and I did that, and it took hours just to get a Razor Claw. So I'm like, forget that. I'm not doing that for the Razor Fang. I'm gonna just trade it up from like Platinum or something. Like I'm not gonna bother with that. And so yeah, I'm playing Alpha Sapphire, playing through it to get everything I need to trade up. So it's been good. It's been good. I just since I was able to trade over cool Pokemon, my Alpha Sapphire team has like a Gengar and like a Politoed who's been really good. That Leafeon I mentioned, a few others probably. I think I'm just using a Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Because Gardevoir is always good, especially Gen 6 onward with the fairy stuff. So, yes, it's nice having a Gardevoir that's not weak to dark type moves. It's been very nice because there's a lot of that in Gen 3. Everyone has like a Carvana and stuff. So,
Yeah,
yes.
it's funny. It's probably a totally different experience
Hugely.
using a Gardevoir in Gen 3 and even just and any Gen 6 game, the Gen 6 onward game.
Because it's like, oh, now I want to use her for dark types instead of switching her out, you know? So, yeah.
Actually, like, imagine using a Gardevoir in Gen 3, 4, and then 6. Because in 3, there's no
no split.
No split for the moves. And then in Gen 4, you've got the split for the moves, but there's still no fairy type. And then in Gen 6, it's...
pretty substantially different. I think in Gen 4 added Gallade too. So, I mean, there's that extra branching thing too. Yeah, definitely. Definitely so. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Oh, the big story. It's happening, Brian. This Friday. This Friday, I'm going to get it.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to hold it in my hands. I have been on a journey, let's just say. Have I ever mentioned it on the podcast even?
Yeah.
I have. Okay, good. So, as you know, then, probably if you're a faithful listener, which of course you are, thanks, Mom. I've been calling Retro Game Trader like every couple of days to see if they have the Indigo Blue Switch Lite in stock.
You're just screaming at the phone, please,
Yeah, please, God. And they're like, oh, and so it did get to the point where pretty much everyone knew me and like, nope, not yet. Sorry. Like they know it's, that I've been searching for this. And I did slow down a little bit. It was more like every 4 days instead of every 2 days. And I was pretty sure that the Hillsborough one was going to have it, the other location,
Yeah.
And so I went in the store not that long ago. It was like last week sometime. And I was talking to the dude working there and sort of mentioned it like, oh, do you happen to have, the dark blue one? And this is a guy who I'd talked to on the phone many times. Like, so he knew all about it, and he's like, wait a second. I have good news. I'm like, oh, and so he like runs to the back, and he comes back with it in his hands.
Yeah.
And he's like, now because of state law, and we paid cash for this, so we have to wait a week before we can sell it. And that's like just a thing. For like, because they're technically like a pawn shop, I think. Like technically, when they give money
like
for stuff,
classify it as one on the books.
Yeah. So, so I couldn't buy it then and there, but he said that when it came in, he's like, "Oh, we got to set that aside." There's somebody who's been dying for this, basically, which was really cool of him,
Yeah.
And he said. He mentioned too. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got invested. Like he was ready and waiting, for this to come." And so they have set that aside for me. And so this Friday, I can pick it up. So in like 4 or 5 days from now,
Cool.
it's gonna be beautiful. I ordered a 512 gig micro SD for it because I mostly want to do like downloaded games on it. Because I want it to be very mobile compared to my Switch that I have at home, right?
Right.
So, yes, that'll be amazing. Speaking of Switch, also, I finally purchased Persona 4 Golden on the Switch because it was on sale. They're only $15 right now. And so I'm like, all right, I just got to get it, like do it now while it's on sale. So that's pretty sweet. I was thinking about it, and the Switch has almost every game that I love. Like, it's actually pretty insane how many games are on it now. Like, because I don't know if I mentioned that I did buy the Kingdom Hearts pack, which is basically all of the remade Kingdom Hearts games, and I never wanted it because it was the cloud version stuff, which sucks. You're basically streaming the game, and so internet connection has a lot to do with if it stutters and stuff.
Yeah.
And even like the demo I played of it stuttered in a few places, and that's just annoying. Like I'd much rather if it was the real games. But again, it was on sale. I think it was like $20, and that's like every Kingdom Hearts game up until 3. Like it's like they're all in there. I'm like, okay, that's worth it. I'm just gonna get it. So I mean, with that, it's like, oh, if I want to play Paper Mario 64 or Persona 4 or Kingdom Hearts 2 or freaking, I don't know, like Mario Sunshine, like name all of my favorite games ever. They're all on the Switch, which is pretty cool. To have it legitimately all in one place is like, I don't know, that's pretty sweet.
It's like everything you've got on your Switch and then Halo, and that's it.
Yeah, right? Like, so I was thinking about it. I'm like, what games would they need to add for it to be like perfect? I mean, the obvious ones are old Pokemon games, but that's fine, Fable Anniversary is up at the top as one of the ones that would be awesome to be on there. Other than that, I mean, Halo, I guess. Like, like pretty hard to think of anything else.
Basically, a few Xbox exclusives, and then that's it.
Yeah, like, man, it's kind of insane, actually, when you think about it. So, and hopefully, the Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Zelda Wind Waker is.
Oh,
is
right. There
one.
Still isn't a Switch Wind Waker.
Because that's still not a thing, which is just insane to me. So I'm sure that'll happen someday, but who knows?
I think we mentioned this before, but like, I believe like globally, GameCube was not super successful.
Yeah. Crazy
but,
that it was a failure.
In our region, the region of the Pacific Northwest of the United States, it was everyone I knew owned a GameCube.
Yeah, like everyone.
Every gamer I knew owned a GameCube. Absolutely. There were no exceptions. I did not know a single person who, 1, played games, and 2, did not own a GameCube.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if that was localized to us or something. To me, it seemed like a huge success.
About the greater Portland, Oregon area, but
super. It really blows my mind that that's a fact, basically.
And pretty much every one of those people at least owned a copy of Smash, even if they weren't big Smash players.
Everyone had Melee and probably Sunshine, and a few others. Like, for real.
And the number of people, and like, there were some people I knew who had PS2s and played PS2s, but nowhere near as many as GameCube players.
Like, maybe we just had Nintendo friends. I don't know, but like, that's really crazy to me. Anyway, I'd be all for more ports and remakes of GameCube games. Yeah. So now I'm really hoping that the success of Metroid Prime Remastered, which has been hugely successful, and I really want, by the way, I do need to get that, but maybe that gives hope, for more remakes or ports. Yeah. So there's actually rumors going around right now, which I never believe, right? Especially when it comes to Nintendo stuff. But there's been a few articles about there being a remake of the Thousand Year Door, of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. So who knows? Because of the success of the Prime remaster, I'm not completely, not believing it, but
not writing it off entirely. But
I mean, I'm not really expecting it either. But I mean, if it happens, great. That'd be awesome. So yeah. Especially if they also remade a Paper Mario 64. Yes. That'd be cool.
And like, I don't need them to do like a total remaster of 64. Just clean it up just a little.
Nice, little touch cleanup would be cool.
That's plenty, because it's still such a great game.
Yeah, a little bit of upscaling, and cleaning up pixels, maybe. Yeah, that's about it, right? Yeah. It's a pretty good looking game.
Yeah, along those lines. So I follow this channel, and I've mentioned him before on previous episodes, Rasputin, and he does very interesting, like, long form videos about just like gaming concepts and just like his personal thoughts about various things in video games, and I always find them pretty fascinating. So he was talking about a game that he played and loved, and didn't touch for several years, and then came back to and replayed and was unhappy with it.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was interesting to think about because I was trying to think if that really happened to me much at all. Now, this is something that has happened to me with TV shows and movies.
Right. Disappointed when you come back to it. Yeah.
Going back to it and realizing it wasn't as good as I thought. Or at least I don't no longer think it's as good as I thought. But in terms of video games, I'm kind of struggling to think of a video game where I felt that way. I think part of it comes down to the fact that I don't just stop playing games.
Yeah. We like constantly replay our favorite old games.
There was a gap of
true.
quite a few years, I will say, with Red and Blue. But the first time I played Pokemon Red after a really long break, I just fell in love with the game.
Yeah, like pretty immediately. Yeah.
There was nothing about it, and this person did say that there are still titles that are from the same era that he still enjoys even when he replays them.
Okay.
And
so it was more like just this specific one?
Yeah. So he was
Did he mention what game it was?
Yeah. So there were a few. The video was mainly about BioShock Infinite.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. When he first played it was one of his favorite games. Yeah. He adored it. And then he said
on the Switch.
When he replayed it about a decade after it came out, he was like, all the criticisms he had read about it were like going through his mind.
Oh,
and
dang. And that like got to him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he's like, they're kind of right. It's like, this kind of is this way.
Dang,
and
that sucks.
Another one he was talking about was Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, yeah.
And
that game sucks.
Well, here's the thing, though. It shaped the entire video game industry, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much every open world game borrows aspects from Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
And he showed like a bunch of examples of how it does that. And it's hard to argue that that's not the case.
Yeah.
And he's like, but like, it's kind of that thing where if you watch an older movie that was groundbreaking, but has been copied and or inspired other movies for so long that like, it just feels like every other movie you've ever watched because you didn't see it before them.
Yeah, but this was the first one, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, it's hard to blame anybody who watches Star Wars nowadays, the original trilogy.
It doesn't absolutely love it.
It doesn't see the appeal because there's been so much that's come, so much derivative from it that it just feels like everything else is like, no, you don't understand. This was the first thing to do all these things, but yeah. Another one he actually mentioned, and he was like, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but Majora's Mask.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't personally love Majora's Mask, so.
And he's like, and I don't feel this way about Ocarina of Time. He still loves Ocarina of Time.
Right.
But
it's funny. I much prefer Ocarina of Time also to Majora's Mask. Yeah, I don't get the appeal, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's confusing and annoying as a game in general. I'm sure people would say I'm just not smart or cool enough to understand it, maybe. But
it's like, I probably have like played Red and Blue to the point where like I've outplayed it, because I occasionally it's one of those games where every once in a while I'm just gonna play Pokemon Red again.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's a little boring. Probably.
It is a little boring.
Yeah.
It's like I think I just need to take a longer break from it and then play it and then go, oh yes.
I mean, there's very few video games. There are very few video games that are super fun playing them over and over again.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much impossible.
Yeah,
it's gonna get old eventually.
Even if so, like I think of all the times I've played through the Halo 2 campaign because I love it, and
that can get stale too.
But the thing is, like, I get to the first Arbiter level and I'm like.
We both roll our eyes every time.
And then
when you get to the flood,
the number of times I have started a new Halo 2 campaign
and stopped
at the first Arbiter.
Well,
level.
See, what you do is you just skip to Delta Halo.
Yeah,
and now it's fun again.
Yeah,
so funny. Yeah, totally true. Because man, when you're playing Cairo Station and Outskirts, you're like, this game rules.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh,
You know what's funny?
takes a dip a little bit.
So for the most part, I don't really like the Arbiter levels, except the last one.
Yeah, it's much better than
The last
the
one,
Flood and
I
stuff.
kind of
Yeah.
like it better than the Master Chief in High Charity.
Yeah,
So
I don't love
High Charity. The level.
I don't love that level either. So I totally get that.
And that's funny because
Halo.
that's one of those games where it's just like, oh yeah, top 10 of all time.
For sure.
One of the greatest games I've ever played. One of the best campaigns I've ever played. And yet I actually feel that
still
way.
roll your
Like,
eyes
I
at
go
it.
back and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't actually like this level at all.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, are some of our favorite games ever. Like Paper Mario 64 isn't even perfect, you know, through and through. There's lulls and stuff. Like there's parts of like Dry Desert and stuff I don't care
Yeah.
for.
I was gonna say, like, what's the chapter that it's
Probably
that
Dry Desert.
gives you a little bit of a sigh.
You know why? Mostly because I feel like it's long until I beat it. And I'm like, that's not very long at all.
Yeah.
But every time I feel like it's much longer than it is as a chapter.
For me,
So, yeah.
it's Lady Bo's
Oh, really?
Booze
Yeah.
Mansion, or well, it's not Booze Mansion, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah. The
Gusty Gulch,
Gusty Gulch, Tub of Lubba's
Tub of
Castle.
Lubba's Castle. That's
Yeah.
It's storming. No, not storming. That's the first chapter.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's Tub of Lubba's Castle. Yeah.
Yeah. The Invincible Tub of Lubba, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
The Secret, maybe.
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
can't remember the
don't
name
remember
of the
what it's called,
title
what the
of the
chapter's called.
chapter. Actually,
But
that's
yes.
interesting.
So I don't love that either, but I love the mansion part.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like it sort of makes up for it. And it doesn't feel as long as chapter 2. So, but after that, every chapter is good.
Yeah.
It's funny as I don't actually love Bowser's Castle.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, but like Shy Guy's Toy Box, amazing.
Yeah.
Like Lava Island, amazing.
No.
Flower Fields, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
don't love
okay.
it. It's down there with
Yeah.
Dry. For
But
me,
then
probably.
you get the snow ice
Oh, yeah.
level, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
I almost said Freeze Easy Peak, which is from Banjo Kazooie. No, it's called Shiver City
Yeah.
and the Crystal Castle
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yep.
Fantastic, obviously. Yeah. Mostly for the music.
Oh,
I could
dude.
just walk through every area
Yes.
of that chapter. Sounds amazing. So, I mean, again, all of the music in that
Yeah.
game is amazing, but whatever.
Yeah, it's been too long since we've talked about Paper Mario on this
maybe I
podcast.
should- maybe.
It-
So
it's-
Paper Mario, huh?
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty,
just
pretty dank.
it's just good. It's just really
Yes,
good.
I'll probably play it on my new Switch.
Yeah.
because I can play it on my cool little Switch Lite.
And like a while back, I got rid of Rogue Squadron, but frankly, I never loved that game.
Yeah.
That's not a game where I was just like, oh man, this is the best at any point.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. I've sold a few N64 games to retro because I'm just like, I don't really care about this. I'm sort of just collecting it for no reason.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, when I think of all the games that I actually own and have decided I'm going to keep this because I enjoy it,
yeah.
I can go back and play any one of them.
Yes. Yeah, that's sort of what I've done in selling stuff to retro is just sort of trimming the fat almost. Like, especially if I can also play it on the Switch, I don't care as much about keeping, the original one.
Yeah.
I'd say my biggest collection still is probably GameCube games and probably Xbox games actually is probably my biggest collection.
I technically own more PS4 than any other, but that's
Yeah,
again,
that's 'cause
thanks
you were
to
given a
Otis.
stack, yeah.
If it weren't
I
for
own
that,
more Switch by far than anything.
if it
I have
weren't
so many
that,
Switch
I
games.
think it would be
comparatively.
Xbox 360 thanks to
Yeah.
all the Guitar Hero games.
Yeah, I mean, I have every Halo,
Yeah.
so I mean that just
And
that takes
and
up like
that's not
6.
even including the
So.
fact that I don't own any of the Halo games physically.
Right. I have them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave them all to me.
Which
So.
okay, so
Yes.
we had so Ray and Keith were over, and a friend of theirs from it came all the way from India,
yeah.
which
yes.
that was cool.
That was cool to have
He had
him
never
over.
played a game, a first person shooter before, so I was like, oh, let me introduce you to Halo, and I
Did
just
you not tell this story yet?
I don't think I did.
Oh, gosh.
And I've just had a lot of fun just killing him and just being like, oh yeah,
So
it's really
funny.
easy. Just do this, and then just just kill him.
And the best part was that you plugged in your Xbox and it was just ready to go.
My goodness.
You got right into the game, right, Brian?
I miss
Power to the players.
I miss the good days.
The good days.
When-
The N64. You put in a
when-
cartridge, you turn it on, and it
Yeah.
plays the video game.
Which, and by the good days, I mean the Switch, because it actually has the quickest load time of any
Yep.
console I own.
And
But
if it does have an update, it takes about 1 minute to
Yeah.
update.
I brought my Xbox Series S, the newest console I own, should be
Top of the line.
the fastest console I own.
And
Bring
maybe
it
is technically
downstairs,
in
hook it up to the
memory
TV,
speed.
hook up our controllers, which one of my controllers, if I put the battery cover on, the batteries slide out just enough to not turn on, which I
That
don't
rules.
understand how that's possible, but okay. The load times and the stuttering and the fact that I had to be connected to the internet to even launch the freaking game. I was so disappointed.
You had tons of fun. Disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yes. Like, why does it have to be this way?
Why are you the way that you are?
Yeah. It makes me want to just go buy Halo 2 and 3 again, physical copies, just so that I don't have to wait for Master Chief Collection to load.
Plus, it would only they'd be about 10 cents probably. So
Exactly. That's
get them while they're hot.
one thing I can take solace in is that Halo 2 will never be expensive because it
Probably
was
not.
one of the most produced games ever.
Yeah.
There were so many copies of that game made.
You could dig through most dumps and landfills and find a few Halo 2s probably. So
Probably.
yeah.
Might even just get one in that metal case again, just
Yeah,
because
that'd be
it's probably
cool.
not that much more.
No.
I mean, when I've looked at
No
the
way.
shelves, it's not that much more. So
no way.
yeah.
Yep.
I remember watching the DVD that came with it, the making of Halo 2. That
Cool.
was great.
It's pretty cool actually.
That was the first time I saw anyone from Red versus Blue.
Oh really?
Because they're in that DVD.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
obviously
Jeff and
Red versus
Gus and
Blue
stuff.
is a part of Halo.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Good old
yeah.
Jeff and Gus, man.
They showed like a working demo of Halo 2, and like it was interesting seeing how different it was.
Yeah, didn't
Like-
the guns look different and
Yeah,
stuff?
the SMGs looked and sounded different, and the targeting crosshair looked different, and yeah.
Interesting.
So a lot of that changed.
Nice.
It's funny how like guns in FPSs are supposed to be based on real guns, but there's a lot of variety for having them being based on real guns. Like these are supposedly both based on the exact same real life
Why
gun,
are they
and yet
completely
they don't sound alike when you shoot them. They don't look alike. The firing action is different. The bullets look different. Like
This one's just a Remoraid. That's weird.
Yeah, one of these must not look as look or sound as much like the real one as the other. I have to assume
Something
or
like
maybe
that.
they both don't. Who
Something
knows?
like that.
Maybe they're just really bad at this.
Most likely.
Like I remember in that DVD they had like real like military personnel come with their
Oh, cool.
weaponry and like show them like this is
how guns
a
work.
real gun and I'm
Yeah.
gonna shoot it, and like
And they're like, cool. Let's
they
do
had all
something
that.
totally different.
Yeah.
Let's make it cool. We're making cool alien guns.
I mean, they are cool.
there's some pretty cool guns in Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta say. That's the podcast. That's an hour. Well, it's 58 minutes.
Just about.
And
What else can we say?
that's good enough for me. We can say, go follow our Twitter at the Brothers G Pod,
oh,
please.
yeah.
Tweet at us. Tell us about how we're wrong or how we're not wrong. And tell us your gun opinions. If you have opinions about guns and us using them, please tweet at us. Okay, maybe not that. Maybe I should say Halo opinions. That's better. Okay. Brothers G Pod at twitter.com. Brothers G Pod. Go. Please
download
download.
the podcast, please.
Haha, I was right.
Yes.
Yes, download wherever you get your podcasts. Go to your little Spotify, hit download so we know that you're listening.
Yeah.
We like analytics.
We're also on like Apple Podcasts, Google
Dude,
Podcasts.
we're on everything. Google it.
Stitcher, I think.
Yeah,
something
a bunch
like
of
that.
weird stuff I've never
Yeah.
heard of that probably
It was an option on Buzzsprout,
Earth.
and so we were like, sure, let's put our
3
thing
people
there.
use that, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And believe it or not, we still have a Reddit.
No way.
It hasn't gone anywhere.
That rules. You should
And it's
go
called
upvote.
r/Brothers Game Podcast.
Talk about karma.
Yep.
That's a Reddit gold for you.
Yeah.
You win the internet.
Okay, bye.
See you later.